Their favourite son, indeed. An Illawarra Steeler, Gerringong, born and bred. 22 origins, 17 tests, 177 first-grade games, 154 of them, I'm right in saying, for the Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the really good guys of rugby league. Rod Wishart, welcome to Throwback Thursday Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy.
G'day, Vossy. G'day, Brandy. Great to catch up, fellas. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh no.
Good on you, Rod.
We've been waiting for you to come back from overseas. So was it business or pleasure? You've been overseas over in Europe, and your son is having the season of his life, Rod. So was this pre-planned that you would be back in time for a potential grand final?
Yeah. My accountant said to do a little bit of work over there, and but have some pleasure as well. So my wife and I went over to Europe for a little while. We had about a month. And, we sort of missed some pretty good football. Tyrone was playing some pretty good football. I think he probably wants me to go back, I suppose. So that's the way it was going to be. But we're back now, and, we're looking forward to the finals. And, no complaints at all.
Wishy, did you have access? Were you able to watch the footy while you were overseas?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Perfect.
We linked in, and we were in a terrible place in Santorini about midday, just watching the football.
Was that the work part of it, or
yes, the work part, doing some receipts and accounts and that sort of thing?
Very hard work, fellas.
Now,
yes,
Rod,
let me tell you.
Your son, Tyrone, just before we talk about your career, so Tyrone at one stage, just until the last couple of weeks, where Will Warbrick's got amongst the tries, was actually the leading try scorer for Melbourne this year with 12, and started kicking goals late in the season as well, Rod. You've thrown a good one here, mate. He's got all the traits.
Yeah, well, he makes the most of every opportunity, and he can sniff out a try. So he works hard on the field and puts himself in a good position. It was good to see him score a few tries, and he's always been a bit of a goal kicker.
Yeah,
he's just been on the edge, and he got thrown into the ring, and he's been doing okay. So we're pretty happy for him.
Now, Rod, there's one other little bit of drama for you that maybe our listeners aren't aware. So your daughter is engaged to Ruben Garrick. So Ruben Garrick is your future son-in-law. Now, if Manly win on Saturday night, it's Manly v Melbourne. So you'll have you'll have your son versus future son-in-law.
It's not like Vossy to pick up on something like that, Rod. You know Vossy well.
Is Ruben a good bloke, or is this?
He's a good man. Yeah.
So what if he kicks
may
your
not
son
be
out?
parading.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a tough one.
No, we want, and actually through the year at the Storm played Manly at Brookvale. Manly beat them.
They did too.
And Tyrone was playing as well. They were on the same side defensively too. So it was a little bit of rivalry there. We always want Ruben to play well, but I think the family are basically going for the Storm. So it puts Riley in a really awkward position actually. So we'll see what happens. But I think Manly can beat the Roosters this weekend. They're doing they're playing some pretty good football, but Roosters, it's going to be a big challenge. But we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Now let's talk about your career. You debuted in 1989 for the Steelers. We went through some of the great names, and we've got people like to turn the clock back, and some of the fantastic names: Rodwell, Skiffaliddy, Carberry, Andy Gregory that year, Pincinelli, Ian Russell. Were you a junior coming through, and did you always were you a Harold Matts, SG Ball into first grade for the Steelers, and were you always a winger, Rod?
No, well, they're all good questions. I grew up in Gerringong, and I sort of played footy all my life, and then got to a level where the junior reps and the Steelers were sort of coming through. They asked me to play for the junior Steelers, but if you did, you had to play for an Illawarra club, and obviously I didn't want to leave Gerringong, so I didn't go that line. I just kept on playing for Gerringong in the Group 7 Rugby League, and progressively, I was a bit of a late bloomer, I suppose. I played country in 87 and 88, and then went straight into the Steelers from there. So that's how it all turned out, and always lived in Gerringong, and it was a really good option to play for the Steelers because I could live in a beautiful place like Gerringong.
Now, that's right. So, because back in the day when I was coming up following rugby league, the country divisional championships were huge. So that's where Larry Corowa first came to light with Monaro. So you would have played for a Southern Division?
Mick Cronin went
was
to
country.
Australia
Yeah.
from country. That's,
Country?
Yeah.
So you were Southern Division? Was that the division you played for?
So, it goes to Group 7 and then Southern Division and then all the divisions in the state, in the country, New South Wales country get together, and then they put a country first side together. So, and country first plays city first, and then you had your city country origin. So I went through that line. I don't think it's sort of as what it was then. It was a really strong sort of league then, and country football's pretty good. I think it's sort of still is, but now you've got all the NRL teams have got their pathways, and they pick up all the players pretty early these days.
They do, and we constantly say that country rugby league is on its knees, and that's a big reason for it being on its knees, Rod. The fact that all the NRL clubs go out there and poach the kids as young as 14 and have them playing in their junior pathway systems, and that does make it tough for country. Was Mick Cronin your coach, Rock?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
How good?
Yeah, in 87, 88, and we won. We got to 2 grand finals. We lost both of them. So, and then then I progressed up to the Illawarra Steelers, but it was great having Mick in the town. He never left, and you won't see this happen again. You mentioned it before. He played for Gerringong, played for country, and then made the Australian side.
Kangaroo tour? Was it 73?
73.
Kangaroo tour?
Yeah. Yep.
Then he did that for 2 or 3 years, while a lot of Sydney clubs were pretty keen to get him up to different clubs. He was just happy, just down in Gerringong playing for Gerringong, running the pub.
The pub.
And but finally he broke, and Parramatta got him.
See, this is great. We're talking about two of the great men like Mick Cronin and Rod, but we have to let you get the spotlight here. Now, Steelers fans are going to start crying as we talk about the 1989 Panasonic Cup. It's tears of joy and sadness because you lost, but that was like the first big moment for the Illawarra Steelers outside of coming into the competition. 89, you were a try scorer in that 89 Midweek Cup against the Brisbane Broncos. How well do you remember that night, Rod?
Very well, actually, because that particular year, 89, my first year, the Steelers had sort of invested in a lot of young juniors. You mentioned a few before, Brett Rodwell and Dean Schifoletti, Neil Pinchinelli, and Russell. There's a host. Paul McGregor came a little bit later on. So we only won 2 games that whole season. But if anyone remembers the midweek cup, that was we made it our own. So we couldn't get beaten until the final. We played against the Broncos, and half of Wollongong came up to Parramatta Stadium. You wouldn't have known we lost, but because everyone was behind us, it was a great game, and it was a memorable game because we're only a whisker away. And but I think it was the real start of the surge that Illawarra took on in the sort of early 90s.
Now, was it, Rod, I can't remember, was it 92 or 93 when it was a prelim final, wasn't it? And was it 6-4 or 4-2? It was a very low-scoring game. Was that 92 or 93?
92. So we were
Dragons?
Beaten by the Dragons.
Yep.
I think it was 2-0.
Yeah.
I think it was 2-0.
Was it
I don't
really?
think it was a try. Yeah. And so there was we'd scored 3 tries. All got called back by forward passes. I feel like one of them was okay, but anyway, that's our Steelers gripe. But and that would have been the opportunity for us to make a grand final. And it was the Broncos. They were the team to beat, but we were their bogey side through the year. I think we'd beaten them at least once, but possibly twice through the year. So
Right.
they were probably happy that St George won, and they didn't face us. But we didn't get the opportunity. But 92, Graham Murray was the coach.
Yep.
It was a merge of a lot of good young local players.
Yep.
John
And
Simon,
I think
Ian
really sort of
Russell.
Bodwell,
absolutely.
McGregor.
So put the Steelers on the map. So I think we've been reasonably competitive all the way through the 90s.
It was 4-0.
And then we merged with St George.
This is nothing but
was
good.
4-0, was it?
Yeah, 4-0. Nothing but good blokes. The only try scorer in the game was Ricky Walford. And we've had him on the show. What a champion he was. Ricky
Yes.
Walford was
Yep.
the lone try scorer.
Now, Wishy, you didn't answer me. Were you always a goal-kicking winger, or were you just a goal-kicking
there you
something
go.
else?
No, I was in the juniors. I was only little. I was an inside back. I was half 5'8".
Yeah.
And then as I progressed, went in through the centres. I came in at to the Steelers as centre.
Right.
And there I was probably 4 or 5 games in, sort of moved me to the wing. Ronnie Hilditch was the coach.
Yeah.
Ronnie said, mate, we're going to move you to the wing. And I'm thinking, far out, this is not good. The next position for me is on the bench. I wasn't playing badly, but Brett Rodwell came in, and I think it was a decision made for the team, and I sort of made wing my own. I'd never played wing before, and the first probably 4 or 5 games, I'd come off and I wasn't even dirty, and then I sort of made it my own just to get in a dummy half and just become an extra forward and just get involved, and it was probably the best move I ever made. Or was ever made. So.
There we go.
Yeah, I can't complain at all.
There
And
we
I've
go.
always been a goal kicker as well. Always tried to kick like Mick Cronin,
Yeah.
but round the corner was the way to go. It was the old toe poke didn't really work for me.
No, toe pokes. I don't think toe poke worked for anyone. Like
Oh,
toe poke
come
was
on.
very.
Ah,
Mate,
come on.
have a look at the
What an analogy,
percentages.
it's a model.
60%.
Now, there's some great texts coming in, Rod. This one from Muzzer. Rod was a childhood hero of mine. I remember going into a pool shop about 15 years ago. I was late 20s. All I wanted to say was g'day, but I was too nervous. So you missed meeting Muzzer. People saying we've got to get Rod's accountant. I've got to get a new accountant. Mine says buy some more shirts, not go to Europe. And this one, a mate of mine from the Gong tells the story of marking Rod Wishart in grade footy. He woke up in the change room. Rod ran straight over him. Great player at every level.
Yep.
Club, state and Australia. Fantastic Throwback Thursday, boys. You
I
did
can-
empathise. He was powerful. You were a powerful runner, Rod.
Yeah, and I can own up too. I wish he ran over me a couple of times off scrums, and I remember a couple of times, and wish he would come in off the wing to run the ball off the scrum. And if I was playing fullback, and I was a couple of times playing the Steelers, I was standing at one off the scrum, and I thought, oh no, here comes Rod. Please,
Wishart,
what am I doing? How am I going to tackle Rod?
New South Wales and Australian honours. Rod, did you have to pinch yourself that he's the boy from Gerringong and you got to tread the path of someone like your hero in Mick Cronin?
Yeah, no, really, it came sooner than I thought. You know, it wasn't that long. You know, prior to getting
Was straight away.
selected for New South
1990.
Wales.
Yeah.
18 months I was playing for Gerringong, so had a good season, first season for the Steelers, and then got a bit of momentum in the second year, and found myself putting on a Blues jersey. And you're right, it was a pinch myself moment. You're here with players like Blocker Roach, and he made me feel really welcome, and the rest of the team did as well. It was Jack Gibson was the coach, and it was just a bit of you just think, wow, what's happening? So it happened fairly quickly. But yeah, I look back at the my Origin series. I played basically every series from 90 to 98. So
Boy, that's good.
I was so happy. We played in 9 series. I did, and we won 6. So New South Wales were dominant back in those days, and it was just a good period of time to be playing in.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. 90 to 98, winning 6 of those series. Who are the teammates that you thought, wow, I love playing with this bloke. He's good. Like out of the teammates, and then on the flip side, the opposition. Like who would you come up against and think this bloke's pretty good? He's good.
Okay, yeah. You ask these sort of questions a bit, and I always sort of go back to Bradley Clyde. He was just a machine, and everything from attack to defence to work ethic and everything else. A kick would go down, and I'd be, obviously being a winger, I'd be one of the first to get back there to try and help out the team. And Clyde had pushed me away. I said, "Don't worry, I'll take this one." He was just a machine, and he could do anything. He could put him in any position as well. His attitude was good, so I always sort of go back to him. But guys like Laurie Daly and Brad Fittler and Andrew Johns had the opportunity to play with some great players. So, and then against, always feel like playing against wingers. We had Willie Kahn and Michael Hancock. They were probably my two main sort of rivals.